Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking us on a roughly 17.5-mile hike along Michigan's Chief Pontiac Trail. Now, despite the name, this trail is not in Pontiac, Michigan. It actually starts at Proud Lake Recreational Area. You can connect the Blue Loop to Chief Pontiac and hike that approximately 8.5 miles until you get to Kensington Metro Park in Milford, Michigan. I just recently learned about this trail a couple of weeks ago through an app on the internet, and I checked it out with a friend. So what we did, we just did one direction from Proud Lake to Kensington. We parked their vehicle over at the horse staging area at Kensington, and then drove my car over to the trailhead at the DNR boat launch over in Proud Lake Rec. That day wasn't typically favorable. Temperatures were about 95 degrees. We had a swarm of mosquitoes following us the entire time, and the trail was pretty wet. There were several downed trees that we had to kind of bushwhack over, under, and around. Hoping, since it's been a couple of weeks and we have a high of 72 today, that there's going to be a lot less mosquitoes. The temperature is going to be super nice for hiking. Anyhow, I'm going to go over with you all of the gear that I'm taking with me today on this hike. For hydration and all of my nutrition, I'm going to be bringing my Altra Aspire trail running vest. This vest has, of course, a pouch in the back that zips for your hydration bladder, and then it has a mesh net to hold it in place, and then a storage pouch for other additional items that you want to stash in there. In addition to that, there's a couple of pockets on the chest straps. So you have this magnetic side pocket. You can stick a gel in, or energy tablet, or whatever you want to put in there. And then there's a zip pocket on the left-hand shoulder strap. Another thing that I like about this vest is that it has nice, wide, deep pockets that hang right about below your chest. And this one has some other individual pockets inside of the mesh pouch. For shoes, I'm going to be bringing with me my super light Altra Superior 4. This is a trail running shoe, and it's one of their more minimal shoes. So it doesn't have a super aggressive tread, but it's perfect for hikes like this in southeast Michigan. It comes with an optional rock guard, which is like a thin sheet of plastic that helps absorb shock from rocks and roots that you can stick in underneath of the inserts here. I really like these shoes. If you're like me and you have wide feet, these have a nice square toe box, so they're actually kind of foot shaped. On longer hikes and longer trail runs, your feet tend to swell up. Being nice and wide gives your feet room to expand, and even on longest distances, you can splay your toes out and just your feet are going to be comfortable in these shoes. I mean, I took these out of the box brand new on a 50K trail run and did not get a single blister or hot spot on my foot. And I can't say that about any other shoe that I've ever worn. For headgear, I've got this Head Sweats marathon cap, and I absolutely love this thing. It's super lightweight, the material's moisture wicking, fast drying, and it has this cute little embroidery of Bigfoot chasing a couple backpackers. As you can see, it's heavily ventilated, so it's very breathable, and it just keeps the sweat out of my eyes and the sun. So this has been a perfect companion for me. I've taken it on several hikes, several runs, several backpacking trips. For my shorts, I'm just going to be bringing my Brooks trail running shorts. These are lined so I can go commando, and they have several storage pockets. There is a rear zip pocket in the back that's nice and big. You can stick your Cliff Bar or your gels or whatever you want to stick in there. Probably not a phone, it's not that big. It does also have 2 additional Velcro straps for you to stick your gels through. And then the thing that I like about these running shorts, on top of being airy, lightweight, and ventilated, is that they have side pockets. A lot of running shorts don't have those. When you're putting in a lot of time on the trails and you need to bring some extra stuff with you, this is a great pair of shorts. Now for my shirt, I've just got an Old Navy active top. Now this is where I want to talk to you about pricing. You could walk into like a Duluth or an REI, and I'm not knocking these places. I love these places. I buy gear there all the time. Some people spend, between $60 to $100 plus on a shirt. Sometimes like $200 to $400 on a pair of hiking pants or hiking shorts, and I just think that's absolutely ludicrous. I mean, this is a moisture wicking, fast drying, just like all my other gear, shirt, just made out of polyester. and it's super comfortable, less than $20. I've never spent over $20 on a running or hiking shirt. And anytime that I'm hiking, I'm usually just wearing running shorts like these, or I have a couple pairs of hiking pants that I bought off eBay for like 30 bucks. As far as socks, I don't wear long wool socks like a lot of people do. I just wear some lightweight athletic socks, just very basic. They're polyester, so they don't absorb sweat as much as cotton socks, and they're lightweight, they're very breathable, and this just seems to work for me just fine. I do wear wool socks in the winter, in the late fall, early spring, but for early fall, summer, and late spring, I go with these. Because it's already after 2 and it's going to take me a few hours to do this hike, I'm bringing my USB rechargeable Ozark Trail headlamp. I really wanted one that was USB rechargeable. This had good reviews and the price was right. And I've taken it out with me on a 38-mile backpacking trip, which was 4 days, 3 nights, and it worked great for me. So this will be with me just in case I need it, and I'm sure I will on my way back to the car. Hydration bladder. This is my 2.5 liter by CamelBak, and I'm taking this one with me today because of its shape. Most of my bladder packs are really long. This one is nice and stout, so it fits nicely in a running vest. Another thing that I like about this hydration pack is that it's got this handle, so when you're filling it, you can just hold it underneath of the faucet. It's genius. It makes it so much easier. So you can hold it straight and then close your lid and not have to worry about spilling water all over the place. Now let's talk nutrition. Since I'm only going to be out there maybe 6 hours max, I've got 2 of these Nature Bakery fig bars, and I like these because they come in nice little 2 packs. So I've got 4 fig bars, 2 blueberry, 2 raspberry. And then I like the Goo Roctane and the regular Goo gels. These are great for sustaining your energy on the trail. High amount of amino acids. They've got sodium, they've got caffeine, a little bit of sugar. So everything that you'd want out on the trail to give you that little extra burst of energy. I've got these Gatorade energy blocks. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard of energy blocks before. A lot of people are familiar with the Cliff blocks or the Goo blocks. I like all of them. I just happened to buy these, so this is what I'm taking with me today. One thing I can say about these, I love the texture. I love the flavor. This is the blue ice. But the packaging is terrible, especially if you're biking. Like, to open these up, and the texture, like, they're very squishy. So they don't, like, slide out of the packaging. They just kind of, like, squish together and squish to the side of the packaging. So kind of a pain. But for hikes, it's fine. You can just peel it all the way open and eat them. Now I've got an apple and a banana. I usually take this with me when I'm going on hikes and just leave it in the car. That way when I get back, I have something to sustain me over the half-hour drive back home. Likely to bring my GoPro with me today, so I'll probably have this adjustable selfie stick. That way I can get some better footage and kind of talk to you. If I don't want to carry it, I can tighten it up in one of the elastic straps on my running vest. And lastly, something that you should always have with you no matter what you're doing, I've got my medical card, a credit card, and my photo ID. You never know what could happen. You could hurt yourself. You could realize that maybe that wasn't enough nutrition and you want to stop at the gas station at the end of the trail. Whatever. Anything could happen, so just always have your identification on you. Just a safe thing to do. Anyways, it's not getting any earlier, so let's get to it. All right, I've arrived at the trail. All right, out on the trail, the time is 3:50 p.m. and sunset is at 8:04. So that doesn't give me a whole lot of time for a 17-mile hike. Good thing I have my headlamp with me, because I'm guessing that I'm going to be needing it. Otherwise, I may just turn around a little early. And since I've already done the 8.5-mile version of this, where I ended at Kensington, I can still show you the AllTrails for the exact route, if I do indeed end up turning around a little bit early. But I'm gonna push forward for the next 2 hours and see where I end up. Well, the air feels pretty good right now. It's like 70 degrees on the button, and so far, knock on wood, no mosquitoes. Right at the beginning of the trail, I saw a lady coming out with a head net on, and I asked her how bad it was. And she said that there were just mostly gnats and a couple mosquitoes, and that she was just embracing the dorkiness of her head net. You can't blame her, because it's been a pretty bad year in Michigan for mosquitoes. So we're at our next intersection here, marker number 12. Came from this way. I'll swing around to marker number 12 on my left. And there's two pathways. You want to keep to the left, aka just go straight. You encounter post marker 11. Came from this way. Again, the sign is on the left, and you just go straight. So pretty quickly you'll come to this area on the trail with these benches. You can go right here, but I go straight, and this is our next post marker, number 10. Again on the left, and of course continue straight. You'll come to this little kayak launch area. There's a real tiny little beach where you can get your feet wet, and there's two little docks where you can launch your kayak or stand-up paddleboard or whatever you're getting in the water with. And apparently this is a pretty decent place to get in the water. I haven't tried it myself because I didn't even know this existed. Got some nice marshy wetlands over there. Across the bridge to the left, you have a privy. There's trash bins and picnic tables, a couple grills. So, you know, it's not like a huge park, but it's a nice little private area. Now, our next post marker is going to be over here on the right, number 9. And you're just going to follow this straight in. Right at 1.5 miles, there's this real nice embankment, and this lovely ring of benches and a pretty decent fire ring. And then straight up this hill is a what I believe is either a Boy Scout facility or a group campsite. There's really not a lot of information about this, but it seems like a great place to come illegally camp. Not that I would, you know, endorse anyone to do so, but maybe I'll come back here in the winter with some of my new gear, because that looks like a nice fire ring and I would really like to use it. You'll come to an intersection that looks like this. I just came from this direction. So 17, you just want to carry on straight. Metro Detroit isn't very known for having a lot of lush, beautiful hiking trails. You know, we've got the Waterloo Pinckney, the Potawatomi, and then, you know, our local metro parks have maybe a few mile trails and, you know, little mile-long nature center trails. But for a great outdoor experience, miles and hours of trail, there's not a whole lot around here. So to discover this entire like trail system and not having known about it was a really awesome surprise. Next post marker is 21, and I came from this way, again, as they have been most of the way on the left side. So you can go left, or you can stay straightish to the right. That's what you want to do. Right about 2 miles in, you come to this somewhat janky boardwalk, and it stretches on for quite a ways. Probably going to run through my GoPro's battery pretty quickly. I'm going to have to buy a second one, just so I have an extra battery on hand. You know, I always thought it was interesting how short the battery life is on these things. Like, maximum power up time, like 140 minutes. So that's not really that much when you consider that you can take video with a cell phone for quite a lot longer. I mean, sure, the quality's better, but I guess the trade-off is you can buy extra batteries for these things. And as I said, this boardwalk stretches on for a good little distance. The last time I came through here, this spot was completely underwater. And just like that, we come across the next marker, 22. And what you want to do is take 23. And you'll see this sign right here that says Pines. That's the group campsite. Not the same Pines campsite that's on the Waterloo Pinckney Trail. This one is a lot more official. Marker 23, and here we are at Pines Organizational Campground. Apparently there's another section to this campground off to the right down this 2-tracker. But up here, as you can see, there's a couple of really nice fire rings. There's a nice little shelter. And it looks like there's some hammock posts over here. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, and even nicer, there's a hand well. I really love when campsites along the trail have these little hand pump wells. And as you can see, there's 2 really nice privies with a trash can back here. Yeah, and all this space to set up hammocks. Super cool. And it looks like somebody might be using this tonight or sometime soon, because there's some fresh firewood hanging out over here. So last time I came through here, I actually went through the other Pines campground. And that one is right along the river. There's a really nice embankment on the right side. And the same thing, it has 2 nice fire rings, a shelter, some privies. But just to save on time, I'm not going to backtrack over to the other side of the campsite to show you. I do have some pictures of it I'll pop into the video. I'm going to keep pushing on since I don't have a lot of time to do this hike. Do this real quick. You know, in relation to where I'm standing, so to the right side of the privies, you want to hop back on the trail right here, just between the privies and the hammock posts. this is where the trail is. I got a little confused there for a second because, as I said, last time I turned right at that last post marker and went to the other end of the campground. Now that I'm looking at my AllTrails. I always love these nice like old growth sections with all these vines hanging down the trees. That's really cool. Got a nice mix of pines and these oak trees. All right, we're about to pop out to our next little bit of civilization here. I believe that this is another kayak or boat launch, and for a minute here you do have to walk along a gravel road. So walking along the trail here, you'll find this little spur trail with some steps. You'll just walk right down it. There's a little kayak area and an overpass, and then you'll see the little park booth up here on the left. And there's a couple of those spurs you can walk down to get to this dirt road. Of course, another privy. So that's a nice thing. If you're ever doing this trail, I mean, you can put in some serious miles, but you've got pump well, you've got several privies, there's firings, picnic tables. So if you bring a bigger backpack, you can bring your cookware and make an actual backpacking meal. But today I'm just going for something quick and light, or at least as quickly as I can. So you just walk up this river access road for a short distance and you'll come to a busy intersection. On the left hand side you'll see the brown sign for the park headquarters, Trailhead, and Riverbank Complex, canoe rental and campground. But we're going to go slightly this way. We're going to cross this major road, and from here you'll see the trailhead for the Chief Pontiac Trail. All right, jogged across that road, and here we are. These have got to be some of the coolest trailblazes I've ever seen. There's not a ton of them, but they signify the Chief Pontiac Trail for you. So right after crossing the road, you come to this section with this tall tree, and there's a fork in the path. Stay to the left. If you go to the right, I'll show you. That dark black dotted line, you'll end up doing that extra loop. So I mean, if you want to do the extra loop and get in even more miles, you can do that. But I'm going for a specific path that I already know gets you at least 16 miles if you stop at the road before crossing into Kensington, doing an out and back. Here's our next intersection, and again, keep to the left, and that'll keep you on the right track. It's definitely best to navigate this trail using some kind of GPS application. I use AllTrails on my phone because it saved my butt several times on first-time hikes on a trail and even second-time hikes on a trail. I've referred to it a couple times today. And another intersection. And here, you actually want to stay to the right this time. And now from here, you don't really have to worry about too many more intersections for a while. So just a tiny bit further up the trail, you'll come across a section that looks like this. And again, you want to keep to the left. You cross a little dirt road called Garden. This is Garden Road. Don't worry, I looked both ways. If you're not a fan of freeway noise, I will warn you, you do hear a little bit of that on this trail as you do cross at least one major road. But the majority of this trail is out in the woods, You know, sometimes you come across a 2-tracker or a dirt road, nothing too crazy. There's just 2 major roads that you cross. The one I crossed back there to get to the Chief Pontiac Trail, and then once you get to Kensington Metro Park, you'll come to a busy road there, which I believe is Milford Road, and there'll be a Dairy Queen on your left, and you continue straight to go into the park, or you stop and get an ice cream because you just hiked 8 miles, whatever. Super awesome mother tree. I love these. At just under 3.5 miles, you'll come to an intersection that looks like this. Oh my gosh, that's a mosquito right on my lens. You'll see that on the left side, and you want to go right. This will keep you on the Chief Pontiac Trail in the straightmost direction to take you to Kensington Metro Park. So what kind of critter do you suppose lives in there? Shortly after that trail marker, you'll come to another one, which is M, and you'll want to keep to the left. And you will see a danger, no horses. And so we come to our first Marshy, Meadowy area. In the springtime and like up until midsummer, I mean really anytime you want to take precautions, but even more so during the spring. The ground is a little goopy here, but it's passable. Last time it was a little goopier and we got our shoes stuck in the mud. Gosh, this is probably my favorite part on this trail. Okay, so here we are at exactly 3.5 miles in. And look at this fun little bridge. Love it. I love the ropes. It's a nice touch. But I'm coming across all these wet areas and bogs and marshes and still slow flowing rivers, and still the mosquitoes are not bad at all. And we're climbing out of the bog. And you know, it's not bad scenery. So at 3 3/4, you come across a railroad track in the woods. And this is where, the first time I came here, I was glad I had AllTrails at my disposal, because you have this nice hub here. But also a nice little place to stop and take a break if it was a hot summer day. And from this hub, you continue straight and you'll come to a second hub. Now, last time I kept left, and on this route there were some pretty serious downed trees, so we're gonna head this way and see if that's still the case. If it does happen to be the case, I can take one of the hub trails and circumnavigate it. All right, so a little ways down that trail, you come to one of these signs, and left is where I headed last time. We're gonna check and see if that big downed tree is still here, because if it is, I'm not so sure that I feel like crawling through it again. And so far, it's looking like it's been cleared. All right. Oh, see, I got excited a little too soon. Maybe? Oh no. Okay, looks like we're still good. And I'm pretty sure that we ran into the downs tree pretty early on. So I'm thinking I should be good. So when I came through here with my friend a couple of weeks ago, this whole area was totally overgrown. I mean, we bushwhacked our way through this giant tree that was just completely covering the trail. And once we got through that, this whole area, all this grass was like knee high. So they've definitely come through in maintenance, which is awesome. And we're at our next road crossing. Just over 4 miles in. And the scenery through this spot is pretty good. A little more open, a little less dense. Lots of lush, viney greenness. All right, your next trail marker, A and E, you're taking E. And you're staying with E. Staying on E. All right, I don't know what's different about this section than earlier, but now we're getting mosquito-y. This is just between 4 1/4, 4 1/2, and you come to this little hill, and now you're going straight. And folks, this is why you have AllTrails. Don't do that. This is a major one. Keep right. And you'll know that because this will take you towards Kensington. Whew. Man, look at those bugs. Jeez. So I'm starting to get this small cloud of mosquitoes around me. They're not too bad. I mean, not nearly as bad as they were a couple of weeks ago. But I'm sure as the evening progresses and the temperature drops down to, I believe it's going down to about 64 degrees before sunset. So they'll probably fizzle out. Ooh. And then you gotta watch out when you're passing down to branches, because all this stuff on the side is covered in thorns, and they got me. Detour. So it must just be the time of year for whatever type of mushroom this is, but I've been seeing a lot of these bright orange little guys, and I think that these are edible, although I don't know anything about mushrooms, so don't take my word for it. After passing these rocks, you'll come to this cross in the road. You can go left, you can go right, but you're gonna go straight. Out onto this area of the trail, you pretty much just go straight. No turning, you just go straight, and then you'll come to Milford Road. I'm not gonna do the full 17.5 today. I'm going to turn around at Milford Road because that's all about I'm going to have time for, unless I want to hike in the dark with my headlamp, but I would like to minimize the amount of time I have to spend in the dark. The extra mileage comes from crossing Milford Road into Kensington, and from there you'll reconnect with the Chief Pontiac Trail, and then eventually hop onto the Brittle Trail that will take you to the Brittle Trail hub at the horse staging area. Or you can continue on past the horse staging area to the organizational campground at Kensington. Although last time I tried to start my hike from there, the organizational campground gates were closed. So I'm assuming that's just not an area that you can normally park. But horse staging area, just fine. I've just got more lush green goodness for you. I've only seen 2 people on this trail. The lady right at the very beginning coming out of the trailhead with the bug net on, and an older gentleman about a quarter of a mile in coming down one of the boardwalks. Other than that, it's a beautiful day on a beautiful trail that is lesser traveled. All right, 2 hours has me at exactly 6 3/4. So I'm super close to Milford Road, so I'm just gonna push on. I started my hike a little bit before 4 p.m. and it is 5:50. So as long as I turn around by 6, I should be able to make it back to my car before having to put on the headlamp. Which again, I don't mind using, but I would just prefer not to. Okay, that's pretty sturdy. And we're back on the trail. And here we are at Milford Road. Just across the street to the left is a Dairy Queen, and straight ahead is Kensington Metro Park. And your destination is a little bit to the right there. You can't see it on the camera, but you'll see the Chief Pontiac trail marker across the road. But this is my turnaround point. It's been a great hike. If you're looking for an awesome trail half marathon, again, I'm going to link the AllTrails in the video in the description below. I'm at exactly 7 miles. It's 5:56, I believe, right now. Oh, 5:54. Okay. 5:54. And I'm at 2 hours and 5 minutes, 7 miles. I'm going to try and get back to my car before the sun sets. So that's in 2 hours, 10 minutes. So I probably won't be doing a whole lot more recording now that you've seen the way. The way back is the same way, so. So people do actually bike this. Just came across a lovely family on some pretty nice mountain bikes. So I guess it makes sense. This would be a great trail to get between Proud Lake and Kensington. So here's where I turn left. And of course here we already learned our mistake. I won't be going left. I will be going straight. So this time we're following D to the left. And that'll keep you on the right track back to the car. At this intersection, you want to turn and follow A. All right, I'm back at the tracks. I'm at 10 1/4 miles, 2 hours and 55 minutes. It is 6:45 p.m. and sunset is at 8:04. So I'm making good time. I have 3.5 miles or 3 3/4 miles to get back to my car, and a pretty decent amount of sunlight left. So I'm reckoning that I shouldn't have to bust out the headlamp. If anyone knows what these are, let me know in the comments below. Ten and a half miles, and it's my favorite time of day, golden hour. So we're at 11 miles, and I've got an hour before sunset and 3 miles to go. All right, I just crossed Wixom Road, leaving the Chief Pontiac Trail. I'm headed to that second kayak portage, and I'm about 2.5 miles away from my car, so almost there. Just like the Potawatomi Trail, there's a lot of great places to stop off and take a break if you wanted to. There's even some barbecue grills at a couple of the spots, one right here. You know, there's fire rings, there's benches. There's plenty of places to use a privy. So all in all, I definitely recommend this trail. You know, it's unfortunate that it's not a closed loop and it's an out and back, but I mean, being a half hour closer to home, I'll take it. And we're back at the Pines campsite area. And to get back to the trail, once you pop out here, you simply walk towards these privies and right back on the trail. Also, by the way, these privies are really nice as far as, you know, those sort of things go. Walking straight forward, there's the campsite that I walked into last time. So this 2-tracker just takes you, that's where I came from, takes you down to the other Pines camp area. And now we're back on the trail from whence I came. All right, 1¼ miles to go. Almost there. So I don't know if you can see her, but I've got a deer. Oh, there she is. You see her right in the center there, staring right at me. Just turned her head a little bit. Yep. Hey, pretty girl. Oh, off she goes. All right, I'm 3/4 of a mile from my car, and my timer has me at 3 hours and 48 minutes. So overall, not bad. That's 13 and a little over ¼ mile. So once I get back to the car, I should be just a touch over 14 miles. If I had crossed Milford Road and entered Kensington and ended at the horse staging area, that would have been a 17.5 mile hike as an out and back. But just because of the amount of time that I had to be able to finish this hike, I decided to cut it a little short and stop at Milford Road and turn around. We're back at the car. Under 4 hours, 3 hours and 56 minutes. Not shabby at all. Well, I've got to say, take 2 on this trail was a lot better. Cooler temperature, less humidity, less bugs, less water, and there was definitely some trail maintenance since I last came here, because the downs trees that I had to forage through last time were cleared, and some of the areas that were overgrown were trimmed down, it seemed. So yeah, this is a grade A trail for the area. Definitely want to come back with my kayak and check out the waterways here, and I'm thinking in the winter I might come back and do a little stealth camping or illegal camping or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, awesome hike, and if you like this kind of stuff, please feel free to subscribe. It definitely helps me, my channel out. I'm not sponsored or anything. I just do this for fun. I do it for you.